You lived with them for like 18 months. Tell us a
Yes.
little bit about what that experience was, like from a day-to-day basis. And
So
their rituals of like dream sharing, doing this ritual and then being possessed and all that, is it very similar between the Gujarati Wagri people and the Narikuravars? Just curious, do you have an idea how many people numerically Narikuravars live in Tamil Nadu? As these people travel, I'm just curious. So these people speak Wagri and they speak Tamil. They go to
yes.
Kerala where people speak Malayalam. They go to Goa, right? So people
Yes.
speak different languages in different parts. How are these people conversing with them? When you lived for 18 months with them, you traveled all around India. Did you ever feel like worried about your safety? வணக்கம் பேராசிரியர் அயாக்கோ இவாத்தானி.
வணக்கம், நன்றி.
சிறப்பு. உங்களை வந்து இந்த மெய்ப்பொருள் நிகழ்ச்சியின் மூலம் சந்திக்கிறது ரொம்ப மகிழ்ச்சியா இருக்கு.
எனக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் இருக்கிறது.
சிறப்பு. நீங்க ஜப்பான்ல ஒரு பேராசிரியரா பணிபுரிஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கீங்க அப்படின்னு தெரியும் எங்களுக்கு.
ஆமா.
இந்தியாவுல ஒரு ஏறத்தாழ 18 மாதங்கள் நரிக்குறவர்களோட தமிழகத்துல நீங்க வாழ்ந்தீங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டும் கேள்விப்படுறோம்.
ஆமா.
அதை பற்றி அந்த அனுபவத்தை பத்தி கொஞ்சம் கேட்டு தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறோம்.
சரி.
அதற்கு முன்னாடி உங்களை பற்றி ஒரு சிறிய அறிமுகம். அதை தமிழில் கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா இன்னும் சிறப்பா இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்.
என் பெயர் அயாக்கோ இவாத்தானி. இப்பொழுது கியோட்டோ ஜப்பான்ல யூனிவர்சிட்டி ப்ரொஃபஸர் செய்கிறேன். கல்ச்சரல் ஆந்த்ரோபாலஜி, கலாச்சார மனிதவியல் கேபிட்டல். 20 வருஷம் முன்னாடி நான் தமிழ்நாடு ஒரு அரை வருஷம் வசிக்கிட்டு இருந்தேன். நான் உலகில் ஜிப்சி மக்கள் மேலே ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் இருக்கிறது. அதனால அவங்க நார்த் வெஸ்ட் இந்தியாவிலிருந்து யூரோப்புக்கு போய் உலகம் முழுவதும் பரவி இருப்பதாக கூறப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. தமிழ்நாடுல நரிக்குறவர் என்று ஜிப்சி மக்கள் இருக்கிறது என்று தெரிஞ்சு ஒரு புஸ்தகம் இருந்து கேட்டு நான் தமிழ்நாடு போலோம் என்று நினைத்தேன். போகும்போது சென்னையில நரிக்குறவர் மக்கள் பார்த்து அவர்கள் தான் வாழ்க்கை தொடங்கியது.
சிறப்பு சிறப்பு, மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி. உங்களுக்கு இதற்கு மேல தமிழில் தொடரணும்னாலும் தொடரலாம், நம்ம ஆங்கிலத்தில் தொடர்ந்தாலும் தொடரலாம். உங்களுக்கு எப்படி வசதி இருந்தாலும் நான் ஆங்கிலத்திலே கேள்வியை முன்வைக்கிறேன். உங்களுக்கு வந்து எப்பெல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு தமிழில் பேச முடியுதோ நீங்க பேசலாம், இல்லைன்னா ஆங்கிலத்திலே தொடர்ந்து பேசலாம்.
ஆமா, இப்போ வந்து இங்கிலீஷ் தான் நல்லா இருக்கும். இப்போ 20 வருஷம் தமிழ் சீக்கிரம் போக முடியாது, அதனாலதான்.
புரியுது. 20 வருடம் வந்து அந்த இடைவெளி ஏற்பட்டதுனால கண்டிப்பா அது ஒரு பெரும் ஒரு சிரமத்தை ஏற்படுத்தி இருக்கும் அப்படின்றது புரியுது. மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி. So we want to shift to English and just want to know, like, how did you choose Narikuravar? Why, like, there are lots of gypsies all around the world. Why Narikuravar?
Yes. That was a very important question to me because first of all, I was very much interested in the subject called anthropology, which is study about cultures, different cultures and human beings. So why human beings have different cultures and why they are somehow similar. That's my subject. And in particular, which people should I study? And I looked back my past life when I was around 20, and I came to realize that the people called gypsies were very much intriguing and interesting to me. So I wanted to study about those people. But they are all over the world. So which part of the world should I conduct field research in particular? And then I picked up 3 countries. India, which is supposed to be their homeland. And second, France, because I have studied French as a second foreign language. And the third, Romania. Romania has lots of Gypsy population, Romani population. So at first, I went to France because I could speak French. So, but at that time, to me, French culture was a bit distant to me, and as Europe, and I'm from Asia, Japan. So there is a distance, and the people were not so friendly. And so then, second, I went to Tamil Nadu. Why Tamil Nadu? Because I had many stories from India that time, and in those days, India was a little bit dangerous country for us, because in those days there was not so much information about India, and all the stories about were about the kind of adventures in India. So I was hesitant to go to, especially North India, which I heard was kind of dangerous for women. So I picked up South India, and maybe it's better and more peaceful. And then I directly went to South India, Chennai. Not directly. First, I went to Malaysia, where there are so many Tamil people, and where I could speak, I could learn some of the Tamil language. Then after Malaysia, I went to Chennai. And as soon as I stepped in Chennai airport, I felt kind of destiny. I wonder what that is exactly, but I felt this was it. Why? Perhaps that's because of the density of the air. In India, the people use lots of incense, and of course, in those days, that was 1996, and in those days, the Chennai airport was not as pretty beautiful as it is now, and the dust and it was not duties. It was not so pretty. So this dust and the incense and all the things come together, made the air very dense and somehow different from me. So I felt when I stepped in this airport, this was very different and very special place. And then this realization was actually true. And it was 2 weeks stay, I remember. It was not so long time, but I met so many kind people. And I could also meet those NariKuravar people whom I met. I got to know in book, and I was very happy to get to know these people, and I wanted to know more about those people. That was the beginning. And actually, the third choice was Romania. And after deciding that India should be my field of research, I try not to go to Romania. And now, after 10 years of research, I'm doing research in Romania.
Excellent, excellent. So you went and stayed in Chennai for 2 weeks. Then you returned back to
Mhm.
Japan. And then
Yes.
when did you return? Which year was it, and how long did you stay afterwards? The second trip.
Second trip was 1999, I remember.
And that's the time you stayed for 18 months?
No, that was also a short time, I remember. And after that, again, I went there 1.5 year, a long time.
That was in 2000?
1999 to 2000.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And so tell us a little bit about like what that experience was like. So when you said you lived with Narikuravar,
Yes.
these are gypsies, they live off the land and they don't have a lot of I guess comforts, right?
Mhm.
So like what was your stay like? Where did you like stay? What did you eat? What was a day
Mhm.
look like for you then?
It was very different. From where was I talk? Well, first of all, I couldn't speak the Tamil language as fluently as it is now or those days, and I needed some interpreter to communicate with those people. But I had a very hard difficulty to find the interpreters because the people didn't want to come to the Narikuravar settlement.
Sure.
And the people said that they are dirty, dangerous, and so forth.
So these
Although
are
this,
Tamil people who also spoke Japanese, but they hesitated to be with the Narikuravars.
oh, they spoke English. So
Oh,
English,
English. Okay,
yeah,
English
English
and
Tamil
okay,
translation.
Tamil. Okay,
Yes. So I had to stay there alone automatically because nobody wanted to come with me. And there was no hotel nearby. And it was Tiruchirappalli, uh, about 300 kilometers from
mm-hmm.
Chennai.
Mm-hmm.
So there were not so many foreigners nearby either. So I had to stay there. And that was the biggest settlement. There was a biggest settlement of Narikurava people there in
This is
Trichy.
in Trichy, the city itself, or nearby?
It's the outskirts of the city, central city, and it's just between Tanjavur, near the Tanjavur border.
Okay. Do you recall what the name of the place was?
Well, it's called Narikurava Colony.
Okay. Okay.
Devare Neri Narikurava Colony.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
The name Narikuravar, can you give us a little bit of insight into how they got the name?
Yes. In fact, Nari means jackal, as Tamil people know. And they're considered to be part of sub-tribe, sub-caste of Kuravar people who hunt jackals. But in fact, they are not Kuravar. The Kuravar people are different type of nomadic people in Tamil Nadu. These Narikuravar people in Tamil Nadu, they are considered to come from Gujarat or Rajasthan, those North India part. And even today, the people called Vagiri or Devi Pujak live in Gujarat. And their language is quite similar to the Narikuravar language, which is Vagri Boli, because they call themselves as Vagri still. Although the Tamil people, the local people, don't know of their own calling. Okay, so that's it. And if you know, have you heard of Hakipiki?
No.
This is the same name, same calling in Karnataka. The Narikurava people called Hakipiki. And that means the people who hide themselves behind cows.
Cows.
Cows, yes. So, and also there is another name in Tamil Nadu, Kuruvikaran. That's also the same as Narikurava. Kuruvi. Kuruvi is, the bird, small bird.
Mm-hmm.
So Kuruvi hunting people. So their life is very close to the nature and hunting activities. So they're traditionally hunters and gatherers.
What was the stay like?
To stay, I stayed with one of the Narikurava family, whom I met in 1996, and I became a member of their family. I have a host brother, host sister, and their children were 3, and later on added 4. And yes, that was the nuclear family. And just nearby, there are their father and mother, and their parents and brothers, their families lived. So it was very much village life. But it was different from village life, I think, because their lifestyle was very fluid. They often go out and go out for gaining money, selling bead necklaces and animal hides and animal amulets and stuff like that. So they often, probably third time of the year, they leave their settlement. One third,
Second,
one third, one third, one third,
one
or
third. Okay.
1/3 or 2/3 of the year they leave home. So I go with them, accompany them for this business trip. I went to Goa, And I went to Matra, I went to Kerala, those various places, and I accompany for them their business and witnesses how they sell bees stuff.
So,
So it was very
couple of
interesting.
things. Just wanted to understand the beads that they carry. Where do they procure them? I understand the like the skin. They probably the animals they
Mhm.
hunt. They probably skin them,
Mhm.
right? And then they sell.
Yes.
But the beads,
Beads, yes, beads, they sell the original materials from North India,
so
because
they
in
procure it
North
from North
India,
India and they bring it to the
yes,
south.
yes, yes, there are lots of pro, product places,
Yeah,
producing places like Matra.
yeah,
So they went there in season to purchase those stuffs, and
got
then
it,
they make.
got it, got it. So
In
just
five
curious,
minutes they make.
say it again.
In 5 minutes, they make one necklace,
Necklace.
one
Okay.
mala.
Mala. Yeah, 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 yeah. But they get the beads and then they make the mala.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Do they get it from other gypsies, the beads, or are they getting it from like industry made beads? Where are
Uh,
they getting the beads from?
they buy from shops, those
Okay.
special shops for the
Okay.
beads.
So as they traveled, as you all traveled, they went to Kerala, Goa.
Yes.
What did they like? How did they converse with them? Language?
So
Did they?
gradually, yeah, actually, yeah, probably in 4 months, in the first 4 months, I got to know their language, the Tamil language and their language, Vagri Boli, and
Wagriboli.
I could speak with them directly. So gradually, the language problem was not so much problem, and but the most problem was not food problems or language problem, but money problem. That was the most difficult thing for me, because in Japan, I'm not used to giving loans to people, and I am not used to being asked for money. But in India, it's not. It's kind of normal thing, isn't it? The people who don't have money, who don't have something, have kind of right to ask for those who have.
Yeah.
So I was asked for money, or
Yeah.
loan, and usually those loans don't come back. So
Yeah.
I was pissed off, and I didn't understand why. So I was frequently asked, so it was very much gets on my nerves. But gradually, this was also I got used to,
Yeah.
and in the end of the stay, I became like NariKuravar people, and I could ask for their belonging for bed. So it was, yes, interesting experience.
It's a big transition for you, I think.
Mhm.
So just like as these people travel, I'm just curious. So these people speak Wagri and they speak
Uh-huh.
Tamil. They go to
Yes.
Kerala where they speak people speak Malayalam. They go to
Uh-huh.
Goa, right? So people
Yes.
speak different languages in different parts. How are these people conversing with them?
Their vocabulary is similar to Hindi.
Okay.
Actually, the closest language is Gujarati,
Okay.
because they came from Gujarat
Mm-hmm.
originally, I suppose. So Gujarati, Hindi, similar. So they speak Hindi as well. So in
Perfect.
business, in North India, they speak Hindi. And Kerala, they speak Malayalam a little.
They speak Malayalam as well.
Yes, because Tamil is
It's
similar.
very similar. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
That's
they're
amazing.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Just curious, like when you lived for 18 months with them, you traveled all around India. Did you ever feel like worried about your safety?
Uh-huh.
You did? Or
No,
no,
not
you
at
did not?
all. Right. That was the point I want to stress about the Narikurava people, because they are very much care about me, and they were afraid of outsiders mistaking that they are kidnapping me, or for some kind, and also, or the police doubted them to um, hide some foreigners like me as terrorists or some dangerous people. So they were afraid of other people, but they accept me as their families. In fact, when I asked them once at the beginning, they had a meeting themselves among themselves, and whether they could accept me. And my host brother's parents-in-law said, I take responsibility to take care of her, and don't worry, I confirm her safety and all. So thanks to them, I could stay there without problems and with safety. And they said if it was not with them, you would have troubles and safety problems.
Yeah.
And that could be.
Yeah, that's great that you add that protection and the security that was given by the Narikuravar people. Did you ever feel insecure by the people outside the Narikuravar clan as you
Uh,
interacted with others as you traveled?
yes, yes, yes. But that was probably once or twice. Once when I went to Tamil Nadu for the first time, I was about to be conned by a Sri Lanka man, perhaps. I'm not sure exactly, but it seems that he said that I'm from Sri Lanka. And because I wanted to practice my Tamil and the Tamil people, communicate with Tamil people, he approached me for tea, and I accompanied him. But he went to deep in the tea stall where it was very dark. So I felt kind of dangerous. So I ran away, and he followed me. He ran after me. So I said, "Paul." That was the only word that was the word that I catch up in Malaysia with the Malaysian Tamil. And he said, "Why do you know this word?" It was good practice, and I
Got
was
it.
okay.
Got it. Okay. So in by and large, it looks like you had a safe time, a good time in
Yes,
Tamil Nadu.
yes.
That's great. I'm very glad to hear that. So you mentioned about the relationship between the Gujarati tribe and the Narikuru people. Do you know when those people came and settled in Tamil Nadu?
No idea, no idea. I should mm, look at the historical materials more, but of course there was not so many historical documents about those people, and in colonial period they seem to have already been spread.
Okay. So
So
pre-colonial, at least
yes.
like 17 before, potentially before 1700s.
Mhm.
Have you ever looked into the Kuravars, the Tamil Kuravars, and
Yes, yes,
you have? And what do you
yes.
see as similarities and dissimilarities between the Kuravars and the Narikuravars?
Kuravers seem to be more quiet,
More what?
settled, quiet.
Quiet. Okay.
Yes. When my best friend visited Narikurava, me and Narikurava, uh, she has cried, almost cried, because she was not used to the sound. And often Tamil people also surprised and say quiet, be quiet to Narikurova people, because all of at the same time they speak.
Everybody speaks at the same time?
Yes, 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 because they are very friendly. It's nothing bad about them
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me. I'm not. I'm very much used to, and I don't have any strange feeling about that. But other people have kind of uh, different feeling towards this noise,
Yeah.
their sound.
Yeah.
So Kurava people seem to be more quiet to me, but they make baskets,
Yeah.
and such lifestyle can be similar to Nari Kurava people.
Where did you meet the Kuravars?
Near Andhra Pradesh,
Okay.
or Andhra Pradesh itself.
In Andhra Pradesh itself.
Mm,
Not Tamil Kuravars. These are Telugu Kuravars?
Probably,
Okay.
probably, yes.
Okay. since you came for the Kuravars, Nari Kuravar, but you stayed in Tamil Nadu, you learned the language, you lived in the state. What is your relationship today with Tamil language and the Tamil people?
Unfortunately, for the past 10 years, after I finished writing up a doctoral thesis and published one book on the Narikurava people, I lost close contact with the Tamil people. Once or twice, actually. Once I did research about Kadu Naikam. Have you heard of Kadu Naikam? They
Kadu?
are Kadu Naikam, Kurukurupe people. They are fortune tellers.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay,
they're
okay.
nomadic fortune tellers.
Okay. What did you say that? What did you call them?
Kadu Naikam.
Kadu Nayaka.
Naikam.
Okay.
Yes. Or Kurukurupe.
Okay.
Kurukurupe means this.
Gudugudupai. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Gudugudupai. Yeah.
Drum, small
Yeah, yeah,
drum.
yeah, yeah.
So I did research among those people with the Narikuravas because I wanted to know other nomadic people as
Yeah.
well. And that research was conducted in 2008. And I remember I visited Tamil Nadu in 2010 as well. And since that time, I had been to Northwest India rather,
Mm-hmm.
almost every year.
Mm-hmm.
Gujarat, Rajasthan, and there I have been doing the research among the gypsy people
Got it.
there. So
Got it. Got it. So curious to know. So the Wagri people came from Northwest to Tamil Nadu, settled, now called Narikuravar, lived here for
yes,
hundreds of years, but they seem to be traveling back and forth. So keep some kind of a relationship. When you studied deeply for 18 months the Narikuravar people, and now that you're studying the North people in Northwest,
mhm.
what similarities and dissimilarities do you see between these two groups?
The similarity would be the low social status in northwestern India, Gujarat as well. They had been treated as criminal tribes.
Even
You
today.
know, no, now they are not criminal tribes, but ex-criminal tribes. So, because the Vagri, the name itself has a negative connotation, they changed their name to Devi Pujak in
Okay.
2002. And so the local people consider those Vagri people as dangerous or cunning and not stable. So this kind of impression,
No,
local impression, is similar between Narikurava and Vagri in Gujarat.
I guess perception that these people in the Northwest are somehow criminal, do you think it's unfounded or is it based on some facts? Or those people really did have a history of like, that made people to believe that they are dangerous?
Mhm. I think it's similar to the people called gypsies all over the world, but those people didn't have their land and they move from one place to another all the times. So in order to survive, they have to borrow sometimes from others. And in such a process, sometimes they come to uh, steal or borrow other people's items. So I wouldn't say that there is no grounding. There is some grounding, and some people still conduct criminal activities. But most of the people are honest. Uh, I'm 100% would say honest and open, and those openness and kindness can be shared between the Wagari and
Very
Narikurava
cool.
people.
Yeah.
Yes. And another thing is that because they have moved from one place to another, their social boundary is very fragile, very flexible. So one interesting episode that I encountered in Tamil Nadu with Narikurava is that one of the Narikurava people thought that I was one of their group members because I could say the ancestor's name like 17 ancestors they can remember and cite, say. So I could also remember those, and I could speak some Narikuravar language. Then one Narikuravar woman said, you are such a person who have been missing for such a long time. So they considered me as one of the Narikuravar members, although I look totally different.
Yeah.
So their social boundary is somehow like this, very flexible and very fragile, because they have no clue where they are from. So this fragility of the social boundary is more so among the Narikuravar people in Tamil Nadu than Bagri in Gujarat. But Gujarat, Gujarat Bagri also had the history of nomadic lives. So their social boundary is also very flexible as well. But this extent how flexible it is was more in Tamil Nadu.
Just curious, the marriages, are they happening, or do these people go through a marriage ritual like wedding?
Yes.
Or okay, and is it similar to the tradition in Tamil Nadu, or is it different? For example, do they wear the tali, or do they do
Yes.
something different?
They wear tali.
They wear tali. Okay.
Wait, but among the Narikuravar, they don't practice tali. They exchange black beads necklaces, traditionally speaking,
Yeah.
instead of tali.
Yeah.
Because I think tali was costly.
Yeah. But they do believe in the, I guess, the institution of marriage, a man and a woman.
Yes.
Okay. And everybody gets married generally.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And do they marry within their community, or do they marry outside their community as well?
Basically among themselves, because outsiders don't want to marry them.
Okay.
And if they marry with outsiders, they would be discriminated.
Yeah.
And I have met some people who have married outsiders, and they had difficulties.
Yeah. Yeah. I could understand. Just curious. So these people came originally from Northwest, moved to South, but also from Northwest, they moved all the way up to Eastern Europe, right? And then all over Europe. You could see gypsies everywhere in Western Europe today. You mentioned about France. I've seen them in England all over the place. Just curious, like, have you traced their, like, how they got from Northwest of India all the way to Europe? And do they have settlements all the way, or they just all just moved and like somehow ended up in Romania?
How they got spread?
Yeah, from like they were from Gujarat, Rajasthan region, right? From there, moving all the way to Romania.
They went through Persia and those Middle East area, and then went to Turkey and Greece. And the Turkey, Greece, in those days it was Byzantine Empire. In Byzantine Empire, they stayed quite a long time, and they picked up lots of languages. And from there, they went to Romania and Eastern Europe. And then from Eastern Europe, they went to Western Europe. And from Western Europe, they spread to American continent, north, south, both. And from America to Australia. So lots of places like this.
So in America, is in North America or South America?
Both.
Okay. Like, so do you know what numbers they live in North America? I have not seen many. That's why I'm curious.
The numbers I don't remember, but and also they are not so obvious.
Okay. Very spread out, I presume. In London, for example, you could see them in pockets. And I've never seen such groups in the US. It's probably spread out. Okay, cool. So just curious, just it intrigues me just what you have done with your life, right? Going and spending 18 months with the Nari Kuravar, now like sometime in France, and then now in northwest of India and so on. And you are a professor, right? That's your day job.
Yes.
And now as you go for these 18 months trip, these are encouraged by the university, and there is
Ah,
flexibility for you to do that?
At that time, I was not professor. I was a
Okay.
student, a graduate student. And in my field of anthropology, we are obliged to stay for a long time, at least 1 year in one place to conduct the field research. And
Yeah.
based on the research, we write up ethnography, which is a thesis.
Yeah.
So it was required in a way. But once I gained a professor job, it became very difficult to go to some places for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. Got it. If your NariKuravar family and your friends there are watching this program, what message do you have for them?
Yes. ரொம்ப நன்றி. உங்களோடு வசிக்கிட்ட ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் இருந்தது. இப்போதும் உங்களோடு கொஞ்சம் பேச எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் செய்ய முடியும் என்று ஃபேஸ்புக் through Facebook மெசேஜ் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் செய்ய முடியும் என்று ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் இருக்கிறது. And how can I say? Take care of yourself.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
உடம்பு நல்லா பார்த்தீங்க.
So, excellent. Excellent. That's great. I think that's a great message to pass on. So you lived in 18 months in Tamil Nadu and with Tamil people. Do you have like what kind of feelings do you have for the place and the language?
Oh, I miss it so much. As soon as this corona stuff is over, I like to go there and meet people. And I want to introduce my daughter to them. And my life changed. I married and had a daughter, and they know through Facebook that I have a daughter. So I want to introduce her. And also I handed my book to them and appreciate them a lot. And what is more, I want to have their food, homemade takari. What was it? I forgot the name. Sorry, takari rasam. Yes, that was the best. That was my most favorite food in India. Yes, I'm looking forward to the next visit.
Just curious, do you see any similarities at all between Tamil language, Tamil people, and Japan and Japanese language?
Yes, there was one theory that Tamil language is brother and sister to Japanese language before, although it was denied now. But some of the word orders are very similar. Like when we leave home, we say "itekimasu," and you would say "poit waren," and "itekimasu" means go and come back. So this kind of nuance is the same, and word order is also similar. But the pronunciation is very much difficult. Very different.
Different.
There are so many RL, and we don't have much. So this also confuses me all the times.
Got it. Got it. Are there other people like you in Japan who have, like, you study the field of anthropology, but there may be other people who are studying, exploring Tamil Nadu and Tamil language in different means? Have you come across anybody?
Oh, yes, yes. In Japan too, and also in the world, there are many Tamil researchers.
And so, like, did these people kind of help you have a better understanding before you arrived, or do you all have a way to kind of exchange notes today? Like, what is the collaboration that happens within this community?
I see. From the beginning, my supervisor was specialist in Tamil culture, and actually, when he wanted to do field research in Tamil Nadu, it was very difficult. So he went to Sri Lanka and he did research among the Tamil Sri Lankan people. And after that, he went to Tamil Nadu and did the research about Tamil Brahman. And he had very much knowledge about the Tamil culture. So it was a good beginning for me. And other than that, yes, another friend of mine had studied about Tamil music, Tamil classical music, and she also could dance Bharatanatyam. So in Japan, those Tamil culture, like dance, is very famous and popular.
Even today?
Yes, yes.
Interesting. Awesome. Professor, thank you very much for making time and, sharing your
My
experiences.
pleasure.
It's great to, just to walk in your shoes a little bit and to see what you saw, though it not as rich as what you would have seen, but just getting a glimpse of it was fascinating. Once again, thank you very much for making time, and vanakkam.
Nandri.
Nandri, vanakkam.
Quite all right.